You are watching UCU Focus TV.
Last week, Uganda's government passed a policy in which medical interns' allowances are to be withheld. Medical students have now spoken out against this policy, considering it a form of exploitation. This story and more are going to be covered in this Media Link bulletin, but first, let us go to the headlines. Medical students at UCU Kampala campus expressed dissatisfaction over government policy to withhold internship allowances.
The policy makers of this internship policy don't benefit from the health sector of Uganda.
What truly makes a hero? We interrogate the spirit behind these national celebrations.
There are medical interns that have also laid their lives to be able to serve, and right now these medical interns now have to work without pay.
Diversity finds unity as international students celebrate their annual Heritage Week. Abasogan Sete executive launches club t-shirt, members urged to clad in it.
Buy this t-shirt, not because it is trendy, but because culture is power.
Good evening once again. My name is Daniella Bagaya. In our top story, medical students from the UCU School of Medicine have reacted to the government's policy to withdraw their internship allowances while making it a mandatory requirement for them to graduate. The students who see this change as a form of exploitation are now asking the government to reconsider its position. MWIDU visited their home in Kampala campus and now brings us this report.
In Uganda, we've been giving an allowance to keep these medical doctors. I think what has come up is that there are now many training institutions and universities that produce doctors, for instance. And the question has been, now whom do you pay? Do you pay those who have been in the government universities? How about those who have been in the private universities? Because internship is not employment per se, but it's just a period when you are strengthening your clinical skills. So that discussion also has been the cabinet. I think it was arrived at that we consider internship as a continuation of training, because I think the numbers are also many given the many medical schools. And that now when you finish internship, that's when you can get into full employment as a qualified doctor. So it has its pros and cons. The policy has been passed, and we shall see how it will work.
The students from the School of Medicine at the Kampala campus have reacted to government's move to withhold their internship allowances, citing it as a form of exploitation. Taking into account the fact that the medical interns provide over 70% of the labor in Uganda's health sector, they are now asking for revisions to be made on that policy.
I find this policy very dehumanizing, might I say. Actually, I would love to equate this to modern day slavery. Because imagine this medical intern, especially in hospitals that are not around cities. These medical interns are the ones in charge of almost every single thing. The medical officers and senior health officers and also consultants rarely reach these places. So it is the JHO that is in charge of this whole facility. But this said JHO is not being given any sort of incentive, no feeding, no housing, no transport, nothing. They just come, work, go back, come, work, go back. Is that not slavery?
It's unfair because the same government is the one that is allocating you where you're going to do your internship from. You're going to be posted in Arua, you're going to be posted in Gulu. So take a picture that it's you taking care of yourself, and you're in a hospital with limited resources, limited facilitation, which means you're going to be frustrated. And the point of saying that it should be zeroed down to 1M, the economy has changed. It's unfair. So which means we should address points of let us increase from 1M at least to 4 million.
I feel very betrayed because medical school, medicine as a course, is one of the most taxing, both mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. It's one of the most taxing courses that we have in this country. And the people that do this course sacrifice their time, sacrifice their mental health. Their parents put in a lot to make sure that they are able to support them through medical school. Now, coming to the end, because when we were joining the course, we signed contracts with our universities, and the contracts were stating that after 5 years, we get an award, which is the degree, the Bachelor of Medicine and the Bachelor of Surgery. So changing the course, changing the rules in the middle is really not fair to us.
So I believe that most people they are policy makers of this internship policy don't benefit from the health sector of Uganda, because if they did, they would know how beneficial interns are in the health sector of Uganda. Because we see most members of parliament and even most health policy makers take their relatives, their children outside the country, to Nairobi, to UK, US, India, and then you realize, okay, now they're not addressing the issues concerning healthcare right now.
Going through medical training, it's very demanding. Students sacrifice financial resources, they put in immense effort. Families do make great sacrifices to take their kids through medical school. So the this new internship policy is very discouraging to the students who do sacrifice all of this only not to get paid. And although the internship policy is though internship is learning, it's also a full-time service that needs students to at least get something to at least meet their basic needs.
The government cited the fact that growing numbers of students undertaking the course has made it costly for them to continue financing these interns, an argument that most students still don't buy.
I think the government just does not want to pay us, because I refuse to believe that we do not have money. Why do I say so? If you are following the current news and you see what is going on about how MPs' allowances is going to be increased, and more money for fuel, more money for their cars and whatnot, on top of the huge sum they've been giving to them. And I'm not saying MPs are not doing anything for their people. They are doing things for their people. But the work an MP does, I dare say you cannot equate it to the work a JHO does.
It is unfair. So we should even go back to the table to revise that if you are making reforms of taking care of interns, it should be fair. Let us speak of some big figure that can be considerable and realistic, because things have changed, things are expensive, and this is a human being that is working on you.
There is a strain on the national resources, but this should be a priority. Treating and training the future doctors should be treated as a priority, because it's very hard to understand when students see that these same strained national resources are allocated to other areas, when we as a priority service are not being allocated these resources. So I believe before we allocate resources to other areas that are indirectly affecting people's lives, let's put this whole training of future doctors at the front line as a priority.
The government requires 28 billion to pay the interns' allowances this year. However, some policy analysts argue that the budget has some misdirected funds. There is furniture and fittings for government officials costed at 84 billion, beddings and clothing at 176 billion, donations for top government officials at 196 billion, welfare and entertainment for government officials at 211 billion, cars for MPs at 166 billion, and special meals and drinks costed at 513 billion, among other expenses. Some analysts believe that some of these funds could be trimmed to redirect funds to the interns. For years, doctor interns were paid a stipend during their graduate internship. But now, the government says that there are limited funds, and yet internship becomes a mandatory requirement for graduation. The government says it is a fiscal reality, and students say it's exploitation. With students pushing against this call, it has been left to be seen if the government could reconsider its move. MWIDU, Jordan Tusubira, reporting for Media Link News.
Moving on, Uganda celebrated Heroes Day this week on Tuesday under the strict scientific observation of the Ebola SOPs. The celebrations were held at the State Lodge in Nakasero. Notably, these celebrations have over the years recognized the bush war fighters. However, some students believe it's time for the nation to rethink the spirit behind Heroes Day celebrations.
On 9th June 2001, the Parliament of Uganda, through an Act of Parliament, passed a law to celebrate National Heroes Day. This was triggered by the brutal execution of Edidian Muchibi Lutamaguzi and other civilians in Luwelo district for concealing the whereabouts of the Uganda National Liberation Army soldiers. As a result, 9th June is designated as a National Heroes Day. This year's celebrations were held in the State Lodge in Nakasero with a limited number of delegates invited amidst the Ebola scares. In the celebrations, no heroes were awarded, but we asked the question, in the contemporary society today, who deserves to be celebrated? According to Victor Enoch Masiga, a law student and political enthusiast, the leaders seem to have lost the spirit behind Heroes Day.
So if you're talking about heroes, truth be told, I understand we appreciate the struggle that soldiers had in as regards to laying down their lives for democracy, for peace. Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, have we achieved total peace in this country? Have we achieved total democracy in this country? Yes, some people will see this. I don't mind if at all I'm controversial. Principle 2, Principle 1 of the African Declaration on Human Rights of Freedom of Expression allows me to give opinions that actually I feel deem fit. So I have that right. But still, you should be able to note that there are people who are actually really heroes. There are medical interns that have also laid their lives to be able to serve. And right now, these medical interns now have to work without pay. But even when their pay was reduced, these medical interns at a point in time were always there to be able to offer service. Those people would be heroes. They would be honored. You don't have to give all of them medals, but at least they would be honored. So for me, I feel like a person like Matthew Lukuya, each and every year, they should be sending a medal to his family. Right? I know they have tried to honor him and things of that sort, but they should be sending medals to his family every year.
Never Wonder, the president of the Launchpad Debate Club, shares similar sentiments as Victor, saying civil servants are more deserving of recognition.
The first people that come into my mind are the ladies and gentlemen out there that keep the infrastructure of this country running. The ladies and gentlemen in the field of social service provision. I'm talking of nurses in government hospitals, talking of doctors, talking of teachers, upcountry out there in underfunded government schools. I'm talking of the cleaners of the roads. I'm talking of security personnel that labor day and night under very bad conditions in living in shanties, having to carry the weight of a gun the whole day. And you know, those, in my opinion, are the heroes that we have in this country. I don't really subscribe to the idea of awarding government officials already living lives of luxury, while the people that actually keep this nation running physically out there, I believe, in my opinion, those are the actual heroes.
When asked whether the Bush War veterans awarded more consistently over the years deserve the awards the most, the gentleman had this to say.
I'm talking with someone who at one point in time has ever received that award. And I was hyping them and they told me this award is not as exciting to me. Because I saw the people who I was receiving the awards with. Some of them really, I was like, what did this one do? Some of them are receiving awards because they have contributed to to the growth of the political party.
Of Bushwa veterans, we're talking of men and women that started by committing treason. Okay, these are people that got up guns and unlawfully removed the government. Well, whereas they succeeded, so the offense of treason does not really subscribe to them. In my opinion, I believe I don't rate them as heroes. In my humble, because it was a political fight, it was a political war. What the Heroes Day awards have been reduced to now are simply political rewards.
Jocelyn Nambia, reporting for Media Link News.
Now this week, the international students here at Uganda Christian University celebrated their annual week with a series of events geared at bringing their diverse cultures together. The peak of these celebrations was the food exhibition tagged with the Cultural Gala yesterday. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Favour Mayombi Vera, said these celebrations aid in building unity among the different nationals.
The international students of Uganda Christian University celebrated their annual week, an exhibition that brought together cultures from diverse countries on the continent. The celebrations that were organized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs under the Guild saw the international students engage in different activities in a bid to give back to the university community. The peak of their activities were met with a food exhibition yesterday and a cultural gala where they showcased different delicacies and dances from their places of origin, an affair that was graced by the presence of officials from this Directorate of Student Affairs.
The way we have cassava leaves, it's made with, we put it like palm oil inside, we put ginger nut inside, we put aubergine, we put garlic, we put ginger. Then we have salt fish. It's like, before we cook it, we first fried it. Then we put like we mix with tomatoes and onion. Then we have shikwang here. We made it with cassava. Before we made it, we always put it for 1 week. Then we shall cook it. Then here we have madesu. It's like original beans, by the way. We made it with many spices that you guys don't have in Uganda. And this is plantain. Yeah, this is from DRC, DR Congo.
This hambasha is a traditional bread. We sometimes we eat it in breakfast, and sometimes it will be inside in a meal. What they call the side things, side dish. So this one, it will be a side dish with the big meals, the main meals. So yeah, this is hambasha, and it's very nice. You need to try it.
The line minister of these students, Favour Mayombi Vera, and the president of the International Students Association said these engagements help the different cultures unite with each other while appreciating their heritage.
The Ugandans got the opportunity to taste different countries. In fact, they did not have any need to travel outside the country to taste foods from Liberia. We had to prepare it for them here from the international students. So the international students, they came together, organized, and also prepared different dishes, different foods that they also serve in their countries. So the nationals, they had the opportunity to taste the different foods without going out or without moving out of the country.
So if I'm here today, I'm so happy that all the countries have performed very well. So I'm so happy, and the food exhibition went very well. They all presented their foods. We liked, we ate them, and we really appreciate the countries who have presented.
The ceremony is closed with the South Sudanese nationals being recognized as the best exhibitors of the week. Latavia Kembabazi, Jocelyn Nambuya, reporting for Media Link News.
The Abasogansete Association have launched their club t-shirt ahead of an outreach to Busoga later this month. Their t-shirt was revealed at a press conference yesterday in the guild offices, in which the club president spoke about the forthcoming projects of the association. He has encouraged the Busoga students to purchase and embrace the use of these shirts as a symbol of pride, unity, and heritage.
I want to encourage every student here, either in Uganda, in Nyankole, in Muteso, in Rwanda, and everyone else, buy this t-shirt, not because it is trendy, but because culture is power. When you wear your culture, you stop being a visitor in your own story. You become a carrier. If you look closely,
in the spirit of celebrating unity and cultural heritage, the Abasugan Sete Cultural Association held a press conference in which they unveiled a club t-shirt for their association. According to the association leaders, the decision was reached to help build unity among the students, but also to prepare them for an upcoming outreach where members will be traveling to Namutumba for a charity outreach.
On the 26th of this month, we are in collaboration with Evergreen Foundation, and we are organizing an outreach with the agenda of distributing pads and educating the community about menstrual health. This outreach will take place on 26, as I've said, in Namutumba district, which is a district found in Busoga. Busoga, the region that we represent as an association. And in collaboration with Evergreen Foundation, we are going to be taking things there. We are going to be taking pads, taking scholastic materials, collecting funds, collecting anything that can help a girl child in a rural area. We pray and encourage everyone in the school to take part in this activity. It's going to be a charity activity, and we encourage everyone to be part of it.
The t-shirts are now available at a cost of 35,000 shillings, a move that is expected to help the club raise funds for its activities. The club leaders say this move isn't just about raising finances, it's a symbol of pride, unity, identity, and heritage. To this effect, they have called on other cultural associations within the university to adopt the same.
We encourage other associations, culture associations, also pick a leaf and join this, because we have to promote our culture. We have to know where we come from, because the university has given us this platform, so we must utilize it. And as the university, you see, it is built on the foundation of culture, because even the man that donated the land to this university was a man who was so into the Uganda kingdom and everything. So culture and this university cannot be separated. So we call upon everyone, every culture association, please lift up the mood, encourage your members to be proud of where they come from. This is a message to my fellow Basoga students. Not to hide your identity, your roots, because you're in university. University is where you discover who you are, not where you forget it. So as we unveil these t-shirts, we want you to wear this t-shirt and let it remind you of the river Nile that flows through our motherland, and the values of Owachabazinga and the resilience of our people.
So we have come to the end of this week's bulletin. We shall come back next week with all the stories that will have made headlines in that time. But until then, stay safe, and I will see you next week.
You are watching UCU Focus TV.